We'll begin with a reign of terror. A few murders here and there.
Hello friends and fiends, welcome back to Blood and Guts, HHN. And as you can see, I'm coming to you live via satellite from the kitchen. We're doing a remote segment this week. Mad Matt is of course in the dungeon, as we call it. And since the new map has come out, we decided we would go ahead and drop that for you, just to get it out as quickly as we could, so we could cover those houses for you. And let's go ahead and kick it over to Mad Matt. He's going to take us into the first house on the map. How's it going, Matt?
As usual, Evil Adam, I'm very excited because, as you alluded to, our friends at HHN Nightmares released the second spec map. So this definitely gives us something that we can talk about as far as the houses go. So we know from the first spec map to the second spec map, the biggest change that I noticed was what we were speculating as Nightmare on Elm Street has fallen off. So this was disappointing for myself because I was looking forward to seeing Freddy Krueger. But hey, maybe he pops back up on Spec Map 3. But if he doesn't, we know we'll have an event that's still taking shape, and it'll be fun to see what we end up getting as far as houses go. So without further ado, friends and fiends, let's go ahead and move up the street. We still have the South American symbol that was on Spec Map 1 and has carried over to Spec Map 2. So with that, we were speculating before that was a Latin American monsters. And that has not changed, friends and fiends. That's something that Evil Adam and myself still feel strongly that it could be. And what's fun with that is this is something where a scare factor could be good depending on what folklore they pull from. I know previously I'm thinking like Curse of La Llorona, but it could be so much. I know in the past they've touched on Chupacabra, things of that nature. So whatever they pull from, it could be like a set piece maybe in the Amazon, or maybe it's the Mayan pyramids, things of that nature. There's just so much that they can do that has me excited for the possibility of this house. So with that being said, let's toss it back over to Evil Adam as we move up the street.
South America monsters stayed the same. Nothing's changed. So that is probably going to stay the same, we're guessing. Curious to see what happens with that. But the second on the list is Bride. And as we've seen, it's kind of evolved a little bit. First was Dracula rumors and now Bride rumors. Looks like, I've heard it could be Bride versus Frankenstein, or Bride versus Dracula's daughter, Bride versus Van Helsing's daughter. We'll see if that changes. Either way, if it's anything like the one they did in 30, that's going to be pretty good. So let's kick it back to Matt again for the third house. I believe that's looking like Ghostbusters still.
Okay, moving right along, friends and fiends. This is another house that's survived from Spec Map 1 to Spec Map 2. We have this, the Cadillac symbol. And as previously we were thinking this was Ghostbusters, that also has not changed. We still feel very strongly that this is Ghostbusters because that's what's being reported in the news is this franchise is going to have a strong footprint at Universal Studios, whether it's going to be in the upcoming parade or possibly a new ride. But we do feel that this will be at Halloween Horror Nights this year. Now, whether or not it's going to be the original version of 1984 like they did a few years ago, or if it's going to be based off the new movie Frozen Empire, that is yet to be seen. But it's also a possibility that maybe they do a mashup between all the movies and have different set pieces for that. So this is definitely what we like to call a fun house. I think the scare factor on it's going to be very low, but it's going to be extremely fun, especially like for the teenage kids that maybe getting into this franchise as well. I know my two sons are hoping that Ghostbusters will be there because that's something that does excite them. So if this does remain going forward, I think this will be an exciting house to go to. It'll be very fun to see what Halloween Horror Nights does with this property. So continue on, then let's move right up the street again with Evil Adam.
Yep, and moving right on up, looks like the same thing. Quiet Place, the little no sound symbol in there. Yeah, not sure exactly how they're going to pull that one off. It's going to be great if they do, but we'll see what happens there for sure. So we'll kick it back over to Matt once again and get his opinion on the next house. Looks like it might be Suites, Major Suites. That one also hasn't changed. Really excited about this one. Let's kick it back to Matt.
Okay, friends and fiends, as we continue moving up the street of New York, we still see the candy symbol. It's a different type of candy symbol. We had the lollipop from the first map. Now we just have like a wrap candy. I'm still speculating this is based off the old Scare Zone Suites Revenge. Obviously, with it being an original house, there's so much that they can do from it to expand upon that story that you've seen in the original Scare Zone. For me, like I know I mentioned in an earlier video, I'd love to see them pull maybe from Halloween 3 a little bit and just kind of homage that. Maybe have Mayor Sweets, you see his diabolical plan, like you maybe have a factory setting where you see him poisoning the candy that they're going to send out in the town, and how he's doing this to, like, maybe have fun on Halloween himself, or rule Halloween, or just be a maniacal evil being. So for that, the scare factor, I don't know if the scare factor will be up. It definitely will be a fun house. It'll be an interesting house. So we'll continue to keep our eyes on this and our ears to the ground to see if this is something that's going to be at HHN 33. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move it right along then back to Evil Adam.
Yep, Suites. What a great Scare Zone that was. The music was great, costumes were great. Have that big giant baby in there. I know that got a lot of people. But moving right on, we have an unknown original. And not even going to go into what that could be, because any guess at all could be right, could be wrong. So we'll kick it back to Matt for what is hopefully a very exciting house.
We'll continue on, friends and fiends, back over behind Men in Black with it looks like where the two pop-up tents are being constructed. We now have a new symbol, which is of a popcorn bucket. So for that, my guess would be possibly this is a hint at the icon for this year, which may be the usher. If that's the case, friends and fans, I'd be very excited to see this, because I've yet to be at an event where the usher was the main icon. I've been to a few where they brought the icons back and then he was part of that as well, but never with him as the main icon. So with this, it could be an old abandoned movie theater and have him running through doing his signature kills. That would be a welcome sight. So let me know in the comments, is the usher someone who you'd like to see be the icon this year? If not, who would you like to see? Like I said, I know this one here, this would excite me. He made, it'd be a fun video to get into and actually rank the icons. Like the usher, he is up there on my list. So like I said, this would be very exciting. So with that being said, let's kick it back over to Evil Adam.
That's right. Could be Slaughter Cinema 2 with the usher, which would be awesome. And we talked about this in the early prediction video a few videos back, where we had mentioned 2 of the possible houses on this list, and if they do happen to come true, we're going to use a I told you so. That would be the Slaughter Cinema 2. You could have the usher, you could have the director, you could have this great storyline in there. It could be the old Universal Palace Theater. So hopefully that's what it is. But then we're gonna pop back up the map to the lantern. It looks like it's the lantern. Not sure what that could be. It's not the Fears lantern. It's just a good old lantern. People are saying it could be Insidious. It could be a Blumhouse property or multiple Blumhouse properties. Yeah, I take that with a grain of salt. Personally, I don't really want that, but that's just me. Unless it's Black Phone again, which they're not going to do. So, And moving right along.
Okay, friends and fiends, and with this spec map, we come into the 9th house. It looks like it is a different symbol than what we had from the last one, but after discussing with Evil Adam, This is one I still feel like will be the Greek God's house that's been mentioned. And if you've listened to some of our other friends out there, I know Fear and Beer podcast has touched on this as well. This will be something that would be exciting. Now, as far as the scare factor goes, I don't think it would be a very scary house. It kind of remind me of Dueling Dragons that we had last year. But you think about the facades and the set pieces that we would have for this house. It would be amazing. It'd be a beautiful house to look at. And just seeing what HHN could come up with as far as like what the gods would look like and their evil minions, and maybe having battles between each other. Maybe having Medusa popped in there with a snake coming out of her hair and everything. That would just be a fantastic image to see. As usually know, this is all speculation, so it all could change. May see some of this, may see none of it. You never know. But leave in the comments. Let me know if the Greek God's house is something you would like to see. And then without further ado, we're going to have Evil Adam hit us with the last house.
Yep. The black and white house. We did predict that one as well in an early video talking about the tribute store. So what you got is the tribute store from last year was that film noir, black and white style. We talked about the awesomeness that would be if they did a house in that style featuring Boris Schuster, the detective, which would be very awesome. If that comes true, that will be two that we have kind of predicted. And I'm hoping that they do come true because that would be an awesome original, especially if it's back in one of the big tents. But yeah, that's a short and sweet map coverage for you. And we're going to keep you posted as more things come out. And be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, stay spooky.